very first episode. Now I just have to invite Sarah. Okay. Link copied. Send. Okay. This is very exciting. I need to stop breathing into this thing. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, sorry about that.
No.
I had to listen to me just babbling on until you came on. So, the last recording, it worked great. It sounds
Yay.
great. Perfect. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, this worked out, but I didn't want to be on a Zoom call, you know?
No. I mean, as much as I love staring at your face.
Yeah,
I get it.
Well, I'm currently laying on my side against a pillow, so
nice.
This isn't the greatest. Yeah.
It sounds very comfy though.
I'm actually in my closet right now.
Well, okay, so you were already thinking about like how to make this soundproof and such because you're a professional. So,
well, no, I heard it on another podcast. I was like, that's smart.
That's very smart.
I'll go into the closet too. Although the thing is, this is serious. There is a spider that I've been hunting for like 3 days. I saw him 3 days ago, and I have not seen him since.
Oh my gosh!
And I need to find him, but I'm also very scared too.
Do you think he's in the closet with you right now?
Oh God, don't say that.
No, he's not. He's in the garden living his best life.
Okay, great. Yeah, but if you hear like a shriek, that's me. It's not Mickey Mouse, or I don't know who else it would be. Okay. Cool. And I found I found the spider. It's not, or he found me rather. Okay.
Who found whom? I said, who found whom? Like,
yeah.
Who adopted whom? Oh yeah, we're coming in strong with grammar.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So welcome, lovely listeners. This is Myths in Movies, and we are so happy to be recording our very first show. So let me introduce my lovely co-host, Sarah.
Hello. I'm so excited.
Oh, I forgot to say my name. I'm Erin. Okay.
Hello, Erin.
Sarah and Erin, we're doing Myths in Movies.
Yes.
So how are you doing today?
I am great. It's a Sunday. Sundays are a crazy busy day for me because I work at a church, but I'm glad to be here and didn't have technical difficulties getting my mic and headphones set up. So here we are.
Oh, that's good. It worked out good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's great. That's great. I cannot remember the days I didn't have a microphone. This thing makes me feel like I should have it always.
Yes, I know. So much power.
And I could just be Fraser Crane, you know?
Yes.
And record everything.
That's what we should go for our best Fraser Crane voice. I'm Fraser Crane.
Yeah.
Sorry, listeners.
So do you have anything like coming up this week that you're excited about?
Let's see. I'm going to see my youth kids tonight, which I love. I'm going to try to get back into Pilates this week. I've taken like a solid month off, which is not great.
No, so I think that you need a month off to properly, I don't know, align your muscles or something.
I like that kind of thinking. Yes, please. Let's see. The reviews are coming in from friends about the Spencer movie. Speaking of myths, I feel like Princess Diana, that could be considered a modern myth, if we will.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited I want to go see that. I may even go by myself because I don't even know who would want to see that with me. But I want to see it.
How are the reviews?
One friend said it was good, and that everyone keeps using the word interesting. So I feel like I need to go see what interesting means for myself. Yeah. Another friend said that it was visually beautiful, which it looks like from the trailers. So
it does look like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe next weekend, maybe next Friday or something, I can find some time to go see that. I know we both are big fans of the, I'm forgetting the podcast name right now.
Oh, Noble Blood?
Yeah. What's your favorite one?
Are we talking about the same canceled? Noble Blood or no?
No, the one you're wrong about. Is that it? Yes.
Have you been
you're wrong
listening to
about
that? I always tell you about it, and then I'm not sure if you
I know.
listen to it.
I've only listened to their Princess Diana series, which was very good. So
I
I
thought that
should.
was excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's gotten me like pumped to go see this
Every time I
movie.
watch the trailer, I'm like, okay, it's Princess Diana, and then I just see Kristen Stewart's face, and it's so weird to me.
It's very weird. I know. I asked a friend who went to go see it and was posting on Instagram about it. I was like, okay, was K Stew any good? And she was like, yes, actually, she was very good. And I was like, my brain does not know what to do with this. So okay, well, I'll have to go
Yeah.
see for myself.
Well, I myself, I've got my LASIK surgery coming up.
That's right.
So, I've sort of been just freaking out about that, and I've been Googling and searching LASIK procedures.
Yeah.
So, even watching them on YouTube. So now I feel fully qualified to perform surgery myself.
That's how that works.
It's exactly
That's so
totally.
exciting, though. You're gonna have brand new eyeballs the
I
next
know.
time.
I'm very
talk to you.
worried though that when I go through the surgery and then they're going to be like, okay, it went great. I'm like, great. And they're like, so we took out your eyeballs.
Here they are in a
What? They're like, well,
jar.
that's what you wanted, isn't it? I'm like, no,
Right?
I like them.
I'm like, what is
But
that?
probably won't happen, right?
Right? I think there's an episode of 30 Rock where Liz gets like off-brand LASIK, and
Mhm.
when there's something about like tears come out of the wrong part of her face then when she cries.
Oh
Do you
yeah,
know what I'm talking
they come
about?
out of her mouth now or something. Yeah.
That's right. So as long as you don't cry out of your mouth, then like we're good. We're fine.
Should we just go ahead and get started?
Let's do it.
Okay, very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did watch Supernatural.
Yeah.
And it was very scary.
Was it?
It was. I don't like it. It's well, it's that thing of like you're like, I'm watching it and I'm gripped and I can't stop watching it, and then afterwards
Yes.
I'm terrified and I have to turn all the lights on in my house,
Yeah. Yeah.
just to make sure there's nothing. I don't know what I think is there, but I know that light will kill it. So
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
So in each episode they sort of have like a different supernatural being, and it's these two hunky brothers, Sam and Dean, and one of them is Dean from Gilmore Girls, which that will never stop being funny to me. That his well, and it's funny because his name isn't Dean, it's his brother. So the whole time
that is
I'm like,
funny.
That's wrong. That's just
wrong. It's the wrong Dean. Yeah.
So they go to this town. They're ghost hunters, okay? And so they're hunting the supernatural. They call themselves hunters, which I don't know. For some reason, that just also feels wrong because you expect them to have a turkey in the back of their truck. So they're going to. There's a kid that's mysteriously vanished, and so they're talking to all his friends, and his girlfriend's like, well, there's a local legend that there's a mysterious hitchhiker and picks up people or something. And so they both are like, aha, we knew it was, something's going on here. So then the episode cuts from them on their little search, and then you see the kid in his car. And honestly, this kid, he looks about 14. And I'm like, you should not be driving.
You do not have your learner's permit. I don't.
Yeah, but I think it's that thing of once you're over the age of 25, you're like, oh, you're 12 years old,
Sure.
It's actually, I'm 21, ma'am. Like, oh.
Let me see some ID.
You totally. Yeah. So he's driving, and then he picks up this beautiful girl on the side of the road, and she is like knockout beautiful. So she is just absolutely stunning, and she's like, will you take me home? And you're like, whoa. Like and she does it in a very sexy way, not like what I just did.
Take me home tonight. That's what she does. She just starts singing like 80s power ballads on the side of the road.
I wish that would be great. No, but she has this very like indifferent look on her face, and also a little bit of like hatred in her eyes.
Ooh,
and I'm like, dude, like you're not reading this correctly, because he's like, hell yeah, you can get my car. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, finally, I've won the lottery.
Can I interject one thing?
Oh, totally.
It's an apology.
Oh, okay.
I have lived in this house where I'm currently living for like a year and a half. I swear on my life, there has never been an ice cream truck in this neighborhood, like ever, to my knowledge. It is currently going by right now, and I can hear it in my headphones.
Anything.
Okay, great. So we can just cut that later. But I was like, there's
Yeah.
definitely going to be like an ice cream truck background
That is
tune
so fun. Oh, it'll be
too.
eerie. Like, oh, it's the
Yeah.
ice cream truck
Nice and
man.
creepy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm so sorry. Continue.
Oh no, you're totally. I didn't even hear that. I'm so excited to tell you this about this creepy thing. So
Yes.
everything's gone in my mind. Okay.
Okay.
So they're going along, bup in the car, and he's like trying to make conversation, and she just kind of looks at him like, "I hate you." But then she pulls up her skirt and reveals her knees, and then sort of like,
Ooh.
the classic trick. And
Mhm.
he's like, "Oh, like this is wonderful." So they
Uh-huh.
pull up at her house, and it's like the creepiest house. It looks like the Clutter house in like
Mhm.
Kansas, or did you ever see Cabin in
Oh.
the Woods?
I did not, but I'm getting a good mental picture of
Okay,
what
yeah,
you're
it's
saying. I'm
super
picking up what
creepy.
you're
It
laying
looks
down.
Oh, great, great. So, it looks totally dusty and gross, and she's like, "All right, this is the place." And he's like, "Nobody lives here. What are you talking about?" And so then she sort of disappears, like in the car, and he's like, "What the hell?" And then later, like 2 seconds later, she pops up again. He's like, "What is happening?"
Mhm.
So she somehow like takes the car and like reverses it and like takes him to the river, like this
Ooh.
creepy fog lit bridge. And
Mhm.
then they pan out, and so you just see the car, and then all of a sudden you just see blood like on the windows. I'm like, ooh,
Dun dun dun.
poor kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just really wanted. Well, I guess he was like cheating on his girlfriend. So the show kind of wants you to
Mm.
be like, yeah, he deserved it. And you're like, no.
But did he though? Did he?
I think it's sort of an extreme reaction to like, oh, you cheated
Right.
on your girlfriend, you should be slaughtered by a mysterious spirit. Like, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Feels like a jump for sure.
Yeah. So, so
Sam
Sam,
Dean.
who is Dean from Gilmore Girls,
Yeah.
he's the smart one in this show because,
Shocking.
yeah, he's going to try and go
That's
to law
hard.
school.
Moving on.
We
I'm
have to
Team
keep.
Luke, by the way. No, I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
No, go
I'm Team
ahead.
Luke. Everyone is like, are you Team Dean or Team who's the blonde kid she meets in
Hmm.
college? That guy.
Hmm. Oh,
Whatever.
Logan. Hmm.
Logan, thank you. I'm neither. I am door number 3, Team Luke, always till I
You
die.
want
So
Rory to date Luke?
no, I want
Oh,
him either for myself or just for Lorelai. I mean, he just is the best male character on the show. Like
I totally
Dean and
agree.
Logan are not that great either
I think
of them.
I think Rory really needs to work on herself and like
She does.
not date any of them really.
She needs those college years to just like really mature, if you
Yeah,
will.
I would like to see a nice like where she has like a bi-curious phase, like that might be
Yeah.
nice. Although
Mm-hmm.
she did kiss Paris once, that was really weird.
It
Um,
was.
yeah,
Anyway,
I just want to see her emotionally grow. And
mm-hmm.
yeah, I was rewatching it and I remembered how awful Jess was.
Yes.
Ugh,
Ugh,
the only time I
Jess.
really agreed with Grandma, like what a little punk. Totally.
Right. I love her.
Hmm.
I know. That's so true. So anyway, I'm sorry. I just needed to,
No, no, you're fine. Yeah, no,
officially
I
on the
agree with the.
record. Yes.
Yeah, totally. We'll get it notarized and you
Yeah.
can be officially Team Luke. I agree.
Yeah.
Best male character by far on that show.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay,
So
so
in this scenario, Dean
Dean,
is the smart one.
yes. So
LOL.
he in his smartness, he's like, aha, I have
Mm-hmm.
an idea. Let's talk. Let's go on the internet. We'll find out what's going on. And this is back, in 2005. So it's like a janky old computer
Mm-hmm.
and takes forever.
Yes.
So anyway, they find out there's this woman Constance who committed suicide, and they're like, aha,
Mm.
she is pretty. So naturally it is her that is doing this.
Yes.
So they go and they interview her husband, and he's like, oh, women in white, this sounds like a woman in white legend, and they've been seen all
Mm-hmm.
over the world, like in Istanbul and Caracas and Indiana. Like,
Indiana.
okay.
Exotic locales. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And he says that it's all these women have been cheated on by their husbands and they couldn't take it. So naturally they drown their children, which seems like a leap to
Sure.
me.
It does.
And they're so upset by what they've done that they kill themselves. And so
Yikes.
now she's doomed to walk the streets forever looking for
Mm-hmm.
an unfaithful husband to kill. And I just love how he says it in such a nonchalant tone, you know? It's as if he is like the Orkin man, and he's like, "You've got a classic case of spiders in your closet," you know?
Yeah.
It's just really funny to me. And
It
so
also seems incriminating. Like, oh, so here's what happened. Like, obviously, I had to cheat on my wife for all of this to occur. You know, it like glazes over. Like, the first thing you just said is a woman who is scorned by her cheating husband, and you, sir, are the husband. So,
yeah. Why doesn't she kill him? Is my question.
That seems like a logical question. That would be my first question here.
So I just thought it was really like a funny image, like all these women milling around in like these long white dresses, you know, like waiting for the bus, where they're just like, "Hey, do you have any ghost change? Because I've got to get on the bus." You know, like maybe I can bum a cigarette.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like Stepford, and instead of robots, they're all ghosts.
I love that
they
idea.
like, you know, they do the dinner rush and they tuck their kids in and they pop out for like a quick murder by the river, and then they come back
super
home.
Quick. I love it. That sounds kind of Desperate Housewives-y too. Like, that show could have taken that turn. Okay,
so anyway, it turns out though that Dean, or I guess his name is Sam, but he will always be Dean.
We're calling him Dean.
Yeah, yes. He's right. This is actually like a super common legend. Which I have never really heard of. I've heard of like women in white, but they're usually like in England, and it's like a fancy Victorian gown.
Because there's a Victorian book, isn't there? The Woman in White.
Yes, that's like a Wilkie Collins like first detective novel.
Yes,
which I have not read. I read The Moonstone, and I thought it was incredibly boring. Okay, so there's many different versions of this. So the one that we're focusing on is the woman in she's called La Llorona, and that literally translates to the weeping woman. And she lives in Mexico. I want to give a little shout out first to my sources. I got these from Vanity Fair, SF Gate, Joe Hayes, who told the story for the National Storytelling Festival. And then a lot of the information came from the American Folklife Center.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Always nice to give little sources. Okay.
Love it.
Yeah. So the first recording of the legend is in 1509. So it's very old, and just it's become very popular in Mexico. It's sort of like the boogeyman, you know, or like on 30 Rock, the Hill Witch, like eat your vegetables, or the Hill Witch. Well, I forget what she does, but it's not good.
Witch. Yeah.
I really loved Kenneth for that.
Kenneth is glorious. So it's a whole other thing.
So I'll tell you the story first, and then we'll go into like where it came from.
Okay.
So her name is Maria. She's beautiful, but quite vain, because of course she is.
Because she's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be like a good person and attractive.
Obviously.
But you also can't be ugly and a good person. You know, like
there's a fine line. Like there's a window of attractiveness in which you can be a good person.
Right.
So she is not on that spectrum.
She is not. No, she's terrible, but all the boys chase her because she is so beautiful. And but she really wants to marry the most handsome man in the world. That's very important to her. So so she's talking to her grandma, and this is a quote from Joe Hayes. He says, "Grandma," she would say, "when I get married, I'm going to marry the most handsome man in the world." And her grandmother would just shake her head. But Maria would go on. She'd look out across the hillside and say, "His hair will be as black and as shiny as the raven sitting on that tree over there. And when he moves, he will be strong and graceful as the stallion my abuelito has in his corral." And her grandmother would tell her, "Maria, we can see what's in people's faces, but we don't know what's in their hearts." And she would tell her, "If you're going to marry a man, you better be sure he's a good man, that he has a good heart in him. Why are you always talking about what his face looks like?" So good for grandma. Like,
great
grandma knows what's up. But of course, you know, Maria, she's probably like 14 in this or something.
Yeah, she's like, whatever. Give me the hottie.
I was really into the hotties too. Like, whoever was the most attractive, that was important to me.
Yes.
Well, so Maria doesn't care. She's really into handsome guys, and she finds a handsome cowboy that tames wild horses. So like, not only is he handsome, but he's wild.
Yeah.
He's she's got to tame him. So
he's like Brad Pitt from some movie in the 90s. Like,
yes,
I feel like
a
there were a lot of romanticized horse movies in the 90s.
Yeah, there's one that's like Viggo Mortensen. He has like a great hat.
Where did he go? Yes. Okay, so she is like, I want Viggo Mortensen or nothing at all.
Right.
So
she gets Viggo Mortensen. So
okay,
and everything is really great for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But then they have some kids, which of course makes everything worse. Just kidding. It just makes things harder, I guess. I'm not married, so I don't know.
Who knows? We don't know.
Who knows? So, but things are good for a while with the kids, and then he like goes back to his wandering ways because he's,
because he's a stallion, he can't be tamed. Yes,
I was
can't
gonna
pin him down.
Yes. So he goes on these long trips, and he totally ignores Maria, but he still loves his kids. So like he'll show back up, and he'll just sort of ignore her, and then he'll like give them tons of presents and stuff. Yikes. And Maria's like, "This sucks. You're rude." Yeah. So one day, her and her children are walking by the river, and she sees the husband with a wealthy woman that's very beautiful. And Maria she has lost it. Like it's not okay. This is
she had straw.
It. Yeah, totally final straw. So she drowns her kids.
Sure.
So it seems like logical. Right, totally. So, but she's upset, as you would be. So she sort of runs along the river, trying to like get them out. But they're already long gone.
Yikes.
So she drowns herself because she's very sad. So the villagers bury her in a long white burial dress. But the next day they see her just like walking along the riverbank in that same dress.
Ooh.
So yeah. So the legend goes that she was turned away from the pearly gates and cannot return without her children. So she's doomed to wander the earth forever.
Yikes, Maria. Swing and a miss.
Totally. And that sucks to, nobody wants to wander around forever.
No, so no one does. Okay.
So the story just keeps like getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So eventually she's no longer like a beautiful woman. She's turned into a terrifying monster. Yikes. And she kidnaps children who either look like her kids or kids that disobey their parents.
Interesting twist. Okay.
Right. Which, so exactly
AKA like all children.
But what I thought was interesting too is that apparently the story really speaks to adults also. Because it's like a cautionary tale of a woman and how she's built her life. Make the right choices. Otherwise you might end up like a screaming banshee or something.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So also,
I feel like it should, hi, feminism. It should be a cautionary tale for the men. Like, don't cheat on your wife if you want your children to live. The end.
Yeah.
But no, it's going to be about the screaming banshee of a woman that's like running up and down the riverbank. But
right, fine. Never in the story is he at fault, really.
No, he wouldn't be.
Right. Sure. No, it's totally her fault. Because first of all, she married the wrong guy. Yeah. So that was her fault.
She went for the pretty boy. Never a great choice. If Jane Austen has taught me anything, it's like, don't go for the gleamy teeth, dude. Just don't do it.
Well, although I thought Mr. Bingley, he was nice though, wasn't he?
He is that's true. I'm thinking specifically of a meme that one of our college colleagues shared with me that was like, Bronte novels, he was so ugly that everyone died. Austen novels, he's so handsome, I don't trust him, And I was like, I feel that deep in my bones. Like, I don't understand why you're pretty. No, so Maria, she made the wrong choice. She went with the pretty boy, and now she has paid the eternal and ultimate price. Yes.
I still don't know why she doesn't just kill him.
Yeah. What the heck, Maria?
I know. She just goes insane or something. Man, I don't know.
I guess so.
So most scholars believe that that she has her roots in Aztec society. So there's this manuscript called the Florentine Codex from the 1500s. Have you heard of this?
I have not, actually.
Apparently it's a pretty big deal. After the Spaniards invaded Mexico, they sort of just decimated the civilization. And then there was one friar who was like, hey, maybe we should write down the stuff that they believed in, like some of their culture and history. Like that might be fun.
That might be nice.
Yeah.
Make up
So
for the plague, you know.
Yeah, like all the
Whatever.
things we did. Let's
Soften the
reminisce
blow.
about how great it was, but we're still better.
Yeah.
So there's he has this manuscript. It's 2,400 pages.
Oh.
It's in 12 volumes, and it's got like 12,000 2,000 illustrations, and they're like the really cool ones of like hand done, hand tipped.
Oh, yeah.
Really pretty.
Like illuminated type stuff. Are they illuminated? You know, where they're like decorated and you have like a block letter. I'm just on a tangent. Continue.
I don't know what that means. Does that mean like is that like where it's like the first, like, you know, the story starts and it'll be like the beautiful, and then like the T will be like in a really fancy T.
Yeah, that's basically exactly what it means. Yes.
Oh yeah, no, it's not like that.
Okay,
It's
JK, so
it's in the Aztec language, which is Nahuatl. That's just one dialect. Apparently, there's many. The thing that's really cool is just the illustrations, in my opinion.
I get that.
Yeah, so there's in the codex you can see several figures of like a woman wailing.
Oh.
And she's sort of saying like, get in, the streets are not safe, and like, of course she's saying that because the Spaniards are invading.
Yeah.
And scholars think that this is a reference to an Aztec goddess named Cihuacoatl, which I had to write down phonetically because Aztec language is hard for me to pronounce.
Well, yeah.
She's actually kind of a cool lady, goddess. She's a snake goddess, which I don't care for, but she is sort of a deity of motherhood. But she's also this warrior, which I think is cool because motherhood is sort of primal and warlike. And she is the deity for midwives too. So like women who die in childbirth, supposedly they like are reborn as her fellow warriors.
Oh wow.
I think is kind of cool. Yeah.
Very interesting.
But then there's like another telling where she's also like a fertility goddess, which means that she like can help crops grow. So she'll like seduce men who are working in the fields, and then sometimes she'll kill them, or sometimes she will make their crop fail. So
interesting. And I feel like throughout history and myth, the concept of like childbirth and fruitful crops are kind of related because there's that concept or idea of production, right? Like you have plentiful crops and you're producing crops and you're also producing children. So I can see why those ideas would be related in the same myth and like
that makes sense. Like all
context.
just everything fertile lands, fertile people.
Yeah, fertile's a much better word. Exactly.
Yeah.
You knew what I meant.
Did you see that thing on Catherine the Great where she had to pee on that wheat to see if she was pregnant or not?
Her pregnancy test. I know.
And they said that's real. Like that actually happened.
Yes. I was like, I think I Googled that when I was watching that show, which was the beginning of the pandemic. So it was like all I was doing was watching The Great. And yeah, was fascinated by that. Had never heard of it before. Googled it. And yeah, apparently it was a real thing, which
I love that show.
It is really good.
I love that pink dress that she wore. Elle Fanning, what a gem you are.
What a gorgeous skin. I know. I have another pandemic habit of mine, I guess, that I picked up was researching like historical dress and clothing and costuming. So it was really fun to look at the costumes in that show. Are great.
Yeah, they did a great job with like the whole look of the show is just great.
Because it's not supposed to be like 100% spot on historical. Like her husband has these like rock star leather pants, and you know.
Oh, I totally
so it kind of matches
the
tone of the show.
I was thinking about the wallpaper. I was like silk brocade wallpaper.
Yes,
I really like that.
Kind of like the Sofia Coppola Marie Antoinette. That everything just looks light and frothy and airy and beautiful and quite the tangent.
Quite. So we'll get back to Maria. Okay. Yes. So the Wailing Woman, we think she's the goddess, and then this is sort of where they think she sort of took a turn from this cool warrior goddess into like a moral story. There was this Jesuit monk who recorded like a tale that he was sort of telling, and it was probably like to preach Christian values. And It was about a beautiful woman who married above her station. And this man is like a lord or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so she wants to marry him because she wants to be fancy too, which I don't blame her, because
Yeah,
being poor now is not great, but being poor then is super, super not great.
for sure not. Yeah.
So I kind of don't blame her.
And we all want to be fancy. Like, I get it. I want to be
Yeah,
fancy
but like
too.
I also want to have like enough food,
Yeah, exactly.
That would be like my number one. Um, so she marries above her station. This guy is a really bad guy. He kills children, he uses them as slave labor, and then just like
Yikes.
kills them when they're done.
Oh,
But
okay.
his wife, of course, she's the bad one in the story because she
Yeah,
doesn't do anything about it.
because women are the worst. Am I
Right.
right?
All these stories should just be like, women are terrible, but we need them to procreate. So, like,
Yeah.
like, but they're
Oh, it's
awful.
so
You shouldn't
true.
even look at them directly in the eye
Yeah,
because
don't
then
do
they might
that.
get ideas.
Yeah. Start
Um,
thinking.
yeah. So her husband is hanged. So that's probably good because he's
Okay,
awful.
good.
But she's so distraught, she kills herself because she's lost her station in life and like the
Mm,
community hates her. So of course she reappears as a ghost and
hmm
she's wailing for her lost husband.
Hmm.
And the Jesuit monk is like really clear that she is also very guilty because
Oh,
right, she didn't do anything about it.
got it.
Um yeah, so this is where we sort of see the important evolution in the story, which is the mother becomes mortal. She's no longer a god.
Hmm
The woman is now punished for a crime because before the Aztec god, like she's a goddess, she can just do whatever she wants and you have to deal with it. But now she's,
Right.
got to be punished.
hmm
So scholars say that this is purposeful, that the Spanish infused a local story with specific morals based on Christianity.
Hmm.
So the Spanish twist the story and the legend becomes a neater one that we're more familiar with, aka the
hmm
beautiful woman killing her children. Um,
Interesting.
and it's also used to get kids to sort of behave,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
which, like, if you're a parent, my heart, well, I don't want to say my heart goes out to you because that makes me sound like you've lost someone. But just like I have a lot of
It's a hard
sympathy
job.
for parents. Like I was a nanny for a long time
Hmm
and I would have told them anything to get them to do what I wanted them to do without
Yes.
a fight.
Sure.
And parents are with them 24 hours a day. Like I could go home at the end of the day and I was still really tired.
hmm
So I don't blame mothers at all because,
Yeah.
so I'm going to tell you this little story about it's a Costa Rican writer and he sort
hmm
of wrote that his encounter with Maria. So at the age of 6, I was sure I met La Llorona. I wanted an ear of corn and my nanny told me no. I persisted and cried and screamed and bit the wise maid who finally brought out her biggest ammunition, La Llorona.
Oh.
I was notified that if I kept yelling, that frightening specter would be called. But I, who was not sure of her
Mm.
existence, ignored the threat. I was at the height of my fury when I saw an old woman enter the bedroom with her hair in disarray, emitting dreadful moans. Take this child, La Llorona, said my nurse, and she put me in the arms of the old woman, who gave me several kisses, feigning tears. Of course, I did not have the courage to look straight at that faithful apparition. I
No,
lost even the ability to scream once I felt the power of La Llorona.
that's so
From
terrifying.
I know, right?
If you're the kid.
Like that nanny, she had just pulled out the biggest gun she had. She had
She's
to
over
plot
it.
this. She was like, "Hey, you're a
Hmm
scary old lady. Would you mind coming over to the house when he's being a terrible little jerk and
Right.
like scare the crap out of him?" And this woman was like, "Yeah, totally. I can do
Sure.
that."
Yeah, text
Yeah,
me the address. I'll be there.
yeah. So, from the time of that lively performance, I firmly believed in the existence of the immortal Llorona, and the threat of her kisses and hugs was a miraculous cure for all of my sudden whims. You see, dear
Oh.
reader, legend doesn't lie. La Llorona really exists in the imagination of children and the memory of the elderly.
Hmm.
So I sort of love that story,
It's
you know,
amazing.
because that
Yes.
maid had just had it up to here.
Oh yeah,
Like
she's
I
done.
can't I can't hit that kid anymore because like I'll get in trouble. But if I
Right.
don't get him to behave, I'll get fired. So I've got
hmm
to do something.
Rock in a hard place. And yes, I mean, same as also a fellow former nanny. There's some days, man, where you're just like, you know what?
Yeah.
You've been tested. And yeah, I would hire a friend to put on like a scary Halloween witch wig
Yeah.
and like come scare some kids because you're not causing any physical harm. We don't want to cause physical harm. But yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah. I just think that's so well, and also I think it's kind of hilarious.
It is
Because
really
I remember
funny.
doing timeouts and those did not work at all. They were like, okay, I'll go in the corner. I'm like, oh, you're not supposed to like it.
Right? You're like, I need the timeout. Like, I need a break from you guys.
Just like wailing incoherently about like an ear of corn. You're just like, oh, enough.
Right. You're right about
but
the
I love
hill
that
witch.
she was just like, here you go, just take him.
Yeah. I'll place him in your arms directly. It's the best part.
I just love that like all these women are sort of like conspiring together, you know?
Yeah,
this is the thing we do to get kids to behave, and well, you know, that's fine. Let's have a little fun too.
Yeah. No reason for it to be boring, for sure.
I kind of think it would be fun as the grandmother to do that, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I want to know who this woman was, because since the nanny was in the same room, obviously it wasn't the nanny that's like, oh, she's gonna get you, and like throwing on her old lady witch
like
wig
she
in the next room.
She pulled a Kenneth where she was like, okay, we're gonna, you know, put out the veggies and we're gonna twist the desk so that you think the hill witch approaches. And this lady went like extra mile. She actually brought the hill witch.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
She's committed for sure to this project.
Totally. All right, let's get back to, well, I guess she's not really Maria. She's Llorona. I went on YouTube to get the pronunciation, and it was that really like flat tone guy. So it was like Llorona, La Llorona. It's like, I think that's how humans pronounce it. I'm not quite sure.
Yes. Can I tell you a brief tale on that note, which is,
oh yeah.
I was at Target and I was buying one thing. So I was in the self-checkout, and next to me is like a dad with his very young daughter, like 5 or 6 probably. And she's like, Dad, can I press the buttons? And he's like, sure. Tells her what to hit. And at the end, when they're checking out, she turns to the machine and she goes, thank you, robot. Just like, I died. I loved that she was
amazing. I'm going to tell that story like it happened to me now. I love that.
Yes.
Kids are so great.
Thanking the machine. And then in character. And yeah, she stayed in character as like I was kind of walking out the same time as then. So then she was pretending that she was the robot, and she was like, I am a robot. And I was just very proud. She was like, she was in the mood, she was in the zone, like very Marie Kondo of her to thank the
she was method acting. Like this was her Daniel Day-Lewis moment.
Yeah, this is her left foot. I
was gonna say Lincoln, but yeah.
either one, honestly.
Totally.
Yes. Okay.
I love children. They're so great.
They are.
And they're somebody else's. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Just you know, because that's the thing, is like it's so great, but then also like you might, you know, make up a malevolent witch to get your kid to eat their veggies.
Exactly.
So like either or.
Like, I have had it.
Yeah, totally. So so the Llorona, let's see. This is a very common theme actually, and I looked up Greek mythology, and Hera, our girl Hera, she discovered Zeus's affair. I don't really know a lot about Greek mythology because I find it kind of boring, and all of their names, I can't relate to any of their names, so I immediately forget them.
Yes, that's a real thing.
And I know the Sisyphus one where he's pushing the hill up, or pushing the rock up the hill. That's about it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to learn. So Hera discovered Zeus's affair with Lamia, and she forced Lamia to eat her own children. So Lamia now wanders the earth and eats all the children she can find. Yeah. Greek mythology is funny to me because a lot of it doesn't have any moral at all. It's just person slept with this person and then he ate the other person.
Yeah, that's so true.
Okay.
Wow.
Maybe the Spaniards knew what they were talking about when they made it into a moral tale. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Does that not remind you of just pick a children's fairy tale out of a hat? And if you read the original ones that were written down, you know, like, I don't know, the Brothers Grimm, you know, not our Disney-fied versions. They all are not only gruesome, but have a moral, you know, like Little Red Riding Hood. How many times do I have to tell you, don't run off into the woods? You know, you might get eaten by a wolf.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I do like it having kind of a point. There's another one where Medea, she's great to Jason the Argonaut. She helps him on his quest to find the golden fleece. She's totally there for him. And she's a goddess, so like she's really helping this like poor mortal out. And then of course he cheats on her. So she, of course, has no choice to kill his new wife and their children and her children with Jason, which seems like, I don't know, a little bit extreme. Like, just kill Jason. I don't understand.
Can I just say that TIL today? Just now I have learned that Jason is an ancient Greek name. Like, I can't get over that. I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm stuck on this.
I know.
Jason?
It's like, yeah.
Like, who's next? Chad? Was there
No,
a
I
Greek
agree.
god
Well, maybe
named Chad?
T-Pain. Like,
Yes. You get it. There's a great.
No, what did I hear? Oh, we're coming up in the story. Her name is Judith, and she's in the Bible. And I was like, no,
yes.
like my Aunt Judy is not in the Bible.
And Judith is a warrior in the Bible too. Like, she will cut your head off.
Oh, well, because the stuff that I found, like they think that she's like another banshee, like she's a bad, malevolent spirit. So
do not cross Judith. She will come for you.
This is just like a pervading story that, like, women. Well,
hell hath no fury, truly.
Yes. Well, they're sexually wanton. They steal children. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not talking about Judith. Lilith.
Lilith. Yeah.
Got the name wrong there. She is mentioned in the Babylonian Talmud, but she's not so much in like the King James, what we sort of know as the Standard Bible, which I did not know. In Hebrew, her name means night hag, which is sort of a big bummer. Like if you name your kid Night Hag, what are they going to be? They're going to be a night hag, Basically, she's a well-known demon of the night.
Yes, I have heard that. Yeah, Lilith is this ancient, other woman that you don't really hear about, like you said, in our modern Bible, that comes from biblical era texts, that is kind of to blame for women's downfall and sinfulness. And
apparently she was one of Adam's wives or something.
Yes. Okay, so I have heard or read in medieval classes or whatever that this concept of Lilith created the idea in the medieval period of women being inherently sinful and evil and need to be controlled, which then, of course, over centuries, the concept of women's innate nature transformed to, like women are innocent and we need to protect them, like that Victorian ideal of women being,
interesting.
Isn't it? Yeah. So historically, if you look at like what people have believed about the innate nature of women, because of the tale of Lilith in the medieval period, it was like women are evil, we need to control them. And then somehow along the way, over the centuries, it transformed to women are innocent, we need to protect them. Obviously problematic either way, but yes. So we have Lilith.
I kind of like the goddess one where you're like a warrior and you're gonna kick some dude's ass.
Yeah, you're like try me.
Yeah, you weren't nice to me, so I am going to make all your crops fail.
Yeah, see what happens. I love it.
So this sort of we're sort of ending the end of our tale. In Supernatural, they sort of mash all of these things together, where like Llorona, she doesn't go after unfaithful husbands. She's more interested in children, whereas in the story, like, she's gonna kill unfaithful husbands. But there are several stories about beautiful women that kill unfaithful husbands. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about that. La Señora from Venezuela, she's a 19th century myth about a beautiful woman, and she's told that her husband is having an affair, or there's this guy who has a crush on her, and so he's like, I know, I'll destroy her marriage. That seems right. So he tells her that her husband is having an affair with her mother, and this lady goes totally insane. So she kills everybody. She kills her husband, children, and her mother. And so now, and while her mother was dying, her mother placed a curse on her, doing her to kill all unfaithful husbands.
Wow, that's a big task. Whew. You're dying.
It is.
She's like, okay, BT dubs.
Although if you're doomed to walk the earth forever, like at least have a job,
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you
Gotta
don't
have
want
a
to be like,
task.
on the unemployment line, like you don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's
You
rough.
read, what's that book that's like, what color is my parachute? Like trying to figure out,
Yeah.
your
Oh my
purpose.
gosh. Do you know what I've just so the Enneagram is like the modern what color is your parachute? So anyway, it's like the next personality test thing that's big, but I'm just realizing
Oh,
that
that's so interesting. Yeah.
it's no better than the parachute, I guess. But I love any and all personality tests, and I will absorb all of them
I don't
as
know. I've never
fact.
read What Color is My Parachute. The
Graham?
India text, is that what you're saying?
Enneagram, it's Enneagram. And it's 9 numbers. So
Oh,
each
I've never
personality type
heard
is a
that.
number. Yeah. And it explains like you may do like do the same action as someone else with a different number, but it comes down to your motivation. Like it's a personality test and I get
Hmm.
super absorbed into it, but I guess that's just the next generation of, parachute colors. So
what period is that ancient, did you say? Is that from
yeah, apparently it comes from like I don't know, some monks or something, like way,
mm,
way, way back there. But it has come up in recent years. Some books have been written about it in, I don't want to say evangelical because I don't think it's just that space, but in like modern Christian audiences, it's like very big to
hmm.
talk about. Like, oh, what's your Enneagram number?
Oh, that's so
Um,
interesting.
yeah. So
I
I'm
guess
super into
people
it.
just have always kind of wanted to like make sense of their world. So
Oh,
it's like
completely.
easier. It's easier to sort of
Hmm.
like be like, there are 10 categories and nothing else, and you will definitely
Right.
fit in one of them and none of the others.
Yes.
It's nice to
So
feel
true.
that.
Order
Um,
in the chaos. Which myth
yeah,
kind of does
totally.
that too. Like you're saying,
It
like these
does.
stories are
It does.
created to try to like modify children's behavior or
Hmm.
explain the unexplainable or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean,
Behavior.
even now, I mean, the world is so just enormous. It's really nice to have like a myth that sort of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, tries to explain. Okay, there's another murdering husband. This
Mm.
one is, I'm not even gonna try, like she's from Japan. And this is at least
Mm-hmm.
1,000 years ago. And
Wow.
she is the most beautiful woman in the village, of course.
Mm.
And she likes to just hang out on the road and ask people if she's pretty, which
Mm-hmm.
I find strange. Um,
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
yeah.
Do
Well,
you
like,
think I'm
at
pretty?
least mirror in the wall is like in the privacy of your own house.
True.
This is like her indulging her fantasies like with everyone she knows, like, am
So
I
it's like
pretty?
Instagram. Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yes.
I need
Ooh,
you to like my posts to
that was
affirm to
great.
myself that I am pretty. Yeah,
That was
that's me.
great. You're very
Nothing ever
smart.
changes. Oh, hey, thanks.
Yeah. So of course she gets married to a
Hmm.
samurai who's pretty cool.
Hmm.
But then she has an affair because she's like, well, why wouldn't I? I'm the
Hmm.
most beautiful girl in the world.
You can't waste that
Um,
beauty on one
no, you
dude.
can't. No. So she has an affair, and the samurai is super mad. So he
Hmm.
kills her and he hacks up
Ooh.
her pretty face.
Yeah,
Um,
don't like cheat on a guy with a sword,
no,
Like,
totally.
that's his whole
Totally.
thing. Mm.
But she continues to hang out on the road and she asks passerbys if she's pretty. If they say no, she kills them. If they say yes, she hacks up their face to look like
Wow, wow,
hers
wow.
and then she kills them.
Mm.
So
Okay.
either way, she's gonna kill you.
Yeah, just
Uh
don't answer. Just plead the fifth.
yeah. Well, apparently she hides her scars with like a fan. So you're like, oh, who is this pretty lady? Let me go talk to her. And it's like, no, like
Mm.
you don't know her.
Yeah,
Just keep
do not
walking.
approach. Do you know what
Yeah.
all of this sounds like to me? Like
Mm.
that she's hiding her face with a fan at first to allure them. Honestly,
Hmm.
where I thought we were going in the beginning when you were recapping the episode is like this sounds like a siren to me. Luring a man to his death with your like beauty or sexual appeal, coming off
Yeah.
as mysterious, come follow me, and the fact that there's like a water element with, leading him to the
Hmm.
river.
Hmm.
And sirens, of course, were like mermaids on the ocean.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Not
that feels
manatees. They were definitely
reminiscent.
mermaids.
Yes,
At least these people were like unfaithful.
yes, there's a
Odysseus like
reason.
didn't really do anything except, like wander past.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do like the idea of like you had to have done something to sort of incur this wrath.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's and again, I think that's probably like code of behavior, behave, or this will happen. I think the reason why this myth endures, this beautiful woman, I think we're just kind of obsessed with that idea. Like Jodi Arias killing her off again and on again boyfriend. She was very beautiful, and all that's what they sort of ran with in every news story was how beautiful she was. So I think that's just sort of fascinating. Like, oh, she's beautiful. How can she be a bad person?
Yeah. Well,
like, how could I not trust her?
Exactly. You and I have talked too before about how, again, using our sort of Disney, fied versions of myth and fairy tales, the message when you're a kid or a little girl is that the princess is beautiful and she is virtuous. And then the evil witch is an old hag, so there is a correlation between beauty being good and evil being ugly physically,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of makes the world simpler, I think. Again,
totally.
Like thinking about categorizing people, like it's just easier if you can just immediately be like, oh, they're beautiful and they're,
they're a good person. Yeah, totally. Exactly.
There was another thing that I liked was a quote from I think it was SF Gate, where they said, in the Maria story, like she doesn't start out as a monster. She's a person, an ordinary person, and then something terrible happens. And then a split second later, she's a monster. And that's one of the reasons why she's so scary, is because anybody could just in a split second become a monster.
That's true.
So
I love that point.
So I thought that was sort of interesting. La Llorona.
La Llorona.
And so Supernatural, they kind of mashed all of these things together to make the best story. So, oh, do you want to know what happens?
I said yes.
So anyhow, they drive her back to her house and they sort of like bulldoze it. So she has to get in the house. And then her kids, who she's drowned, they confront her and they drag her down into the floor. And then she sort of disappears, a little pop. You're like, oh, okay.
Poof.
Yeah. And then, well, there's a bunch of stuff about how they have got to go find their dad because he's missing, because I don't know.
Ooh.
But I'm really glad that we're not doing the show because it really creeps me out. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like Charmed, I thought it was going to be like two brothers and slay dragon. I don't know. I thought they were going to be like Charmed and they were going to wear cute little tops.
Yeah.
And, Rose McGowan was going to come on.
Yeah, if only.
Yeah, it's really dark.
Yeah. So, but I do love myth in general. I mean, would I go get a pointless PhD if I had the money in strictly children's like myth and folklore? Hell yeah, I would.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
But I'm not going to do that because you can't really do anything with it, and I don't have the money. So, there's that.
Well, it's a ton of work and stuff.
Yeah, and that truly.
Yeah. I know folklore is just totally fascinating.
It is.
Have you listened to lore at all? Because I tried and I found it also very scary. Maybe I just have like a low tolerance for that. I don't know.
Right. I know.
Because it's super popular.
Yeah, I actually haven't, and I don't know why. You're right. That seems like something I would at least give a go with. All of my podcasts are history related somehow because I'm a one-trick pony, I guess.
No, I have stuff all over the place.
Yeah, I admire that.
Yeah. I was reading something and they were like, wouldn't it be funny if someone did a cooking podcast because you couldn't see what they were doing? And then I looked it up and they had a bunch.
I was going to say, I'm sure there are podcasts about like everything, which is kind of the beauty of it. Like whatever you're interested in, it's out there.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Although, can I just say this is terrible, but it seems celebrities figured out how profitable podcasts can be, and then they all started doing them, which kind of, I don't want to say makes me sad, but it's just kind of like, I don't want to hear anymore like you do this because it's your craft. You're clearly doing stuff because it makes you money.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, speaking as a former, creative writing major, the number of people that you hear in their Academy Award acceptance speeches or whatever talking about storytelling, like it's the craft of storytelling, and at some point you just roll your eyes. God, say that word one more time.
Yeah. Well, it's like people start talking about their craft. Okay, you're on a reality show, so relax.
What is that movie? Is it La La Land? That's Emma Stone. And she lives in it's a musical. She's in LA and is an aspiring actress. And she goes to a party and she's talking to some guy, and he's like, yeah, I just like, I really have a passion for world building. And she's just like, nope. Like, next.
That reminds me of New Girl when she's like, where are all the men? And Schmidt's like, be quiet. I have to write a strongly worded note to my florist.
Oh, shout out to you, Schmidt. We love you.
We do love you. Well, so I've told you everything that I can find. It'd be nice if someone would listen to us. I don't think they will.
I know.
I had a ball doing this. Okay, so our next episode, we're going to talk about Pippy Longstocking. So we're going to be talking a lot about Swedish stuff. So
ooh,
it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think I realized, or I had forgotten that she is Swedish in origin. I'm very excited.
She is, yes. It's funny. There's this one thing about people thought she was really weird, but in America, people are like, oh, well, she's Swedish. Of course she's weird. Yeah. Of course her hair sticks out on the side. She's Swedish.
It's like cold there, so her braids are frozen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
All right. So thank you, lovely listeners, for listening along. We hope you had as much fun as we did. And I'm going to end this call.
All right. We'll see you next time.